Welcome to the West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and beyond. This week, the President continued to address the conflict in Syria, met with Baltic leaders, and embarked on a 3-day trip to Sweden and Russia. That's August 30th to September 5th, or Stronger Together. On Friday, the President and Vice President welcomed the Baltic leaders at the occasion of their first joint visit to the White House since their country's accession to NATO in 2004. Before the President addressed U.S.-Baltic relations, he remarked on Syria.
Part of the challenge that we end up with here is that a lot of people think something should be done, but nobody wants to do it. And that's not an unusual situation, and that's part of what allows, over time, the erosion of these kinds of international prohibitions, unless somebody says no. When the world says we're not going to use chemical weapons, we mean it.
Then the President hopped on his annual conference call with rabbis in advance of the Hebrew high holy days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur.
Hope and pray that this year, 5774, will be a good year of progress and peace.
On Saturday, the President was joined by the Vice President in the Rose Garden, where he spoke on the ongoing situation in Syria.
After careful deliberation, I have decided that the United States should take military action against Syrian regime targets. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs has informed me that we are prepared to strike whenever we choose. Moreover, the chairman has indicated to me that our capacity to execute this mission is not time sensitive. It will be effective tomorrow, or next week, or 1 month from now. And I'm prepared to give that order. I will seek authorization for the use of force from the American people's representatives in Congress.
On Tuesday, the President and the Vice President met with a bipartisan group of 16 lawmakers in the Cabinet room.
I've made a decision that America should take action, but I also believe that we will be much more effective, we will be stronger if we take action together as one nation. And so this gives us an opportunity not only to present the evidence to all of the leading members of Congress and the various foreign policy committees as to why we have high confidence that chemical weapons were used and that Assad used them. But it also gives us an opportunity to discuss why it's so important that he be held to account.
That evening, the President departed Washington, D.C. for Stockholm, Sweden, and points beyond. On Wednesday, the President arrived in Stockholm. While in Sweden, the President held a bilateral meeting and joint press conference with Prime Minister Reinfeldt. He then participated in an event honoring Raoul Wallenberg at the Great Synagogue in Stockholm and toured an expo featuring clean energy innovations at the Royal Institute of Technology. On Thursday morning, the President held a bilateral meeting with the King and Queen of Sweden. The President then departed Stockholm en route to St. Petersburg, Russia. In St. Petersburg, the President would attend the G20 summit. To find out more information on any of these topics or to see complete videos of these events, go to whitehouse.gov. And thanks again for checking out your West Wing Week.
Now I'm born and raised in Sweden.
Excellent.
And I hope that also my children can be born and raised in Sweden.
Well, I'm sure they will be.
So.
Why, do you have a girlfriend yet?
No,
Okay, well,
I'm single.
I mean, I didn't know yet. Talking about your children already.
In the future.
Good-looking young man. I'm sure you're very eligible.